Round 4 of the X-Lite Racing League. Coverage brought to you tonight by GT Omega Racing and GamePod.co.uk, exclusively on Twitch.tv. We are here with the GP2 division at Sakias in Bahrain, about 30 kilometres south of the main capital city of Manama, and it's brought us quite a lot of drama over the years, and even over the couple of weeks. Last night, for those of you who watched the F1 division, you will have seen quite a lot of action throughout the field, despite TRL Button being able to streak away and take victory. We also saw a fantastic battle for the podium between MMR Mr. Indigo and also XRL Bobbert, and even a last flag scrap between Ian Unstoppable, who's in the race tonight, along with XRL LGS. Those of you watching out there tonight, good evening to all of you. I'm Pete Marcroft in the box, and joining me as usual is Chris Moss. Good evening to you.
Evening, Fish, and evening, everybody.
Now, we're currently getting out on track to try and get some coverage of the race here, and just watching the outlaps at the moment. Psychic Taco, last night's second place runner-up in the Formula 1 division, ended up not too far adrift of TRL Button, so many people will probably choose him as the odds-on favourite tonight, having got a lot of data being at the front and, of course, driving in the same car, so he'll be used to the same kind of handling that car gives him, and that'll be a colossal advantage, surely.
Yeah, he's done a lot of practice this week, getting prepared for that F1 race, and he did not disappoint.
He did not. He certainly gave a scrap throughout the field and qualified well. Dead heating in the end with Stuart B949. Well, was one of the closest results we've seen in qualifying for quite some time. And then, of course, he was actually on the podium. Now, Nirotowski currently following on board with him, driving for Sauber. Oh, he can't afford to do that in the race through qualifying too much, cutting the inside of turn 11. Do that too many times, you will be seen gaining an advantage, and of course, that will more than likely get you the wrath of the stewards. Keep it inside the white lines, people. So we're just getting towards the end of the first stint of outlaps. Nirotowski ahead of the snake for the Sauber, and we heard last night from ex-Lewis Hamilton how much he's struggling with that Sauber and how he seems very skittish and unreliable at the back end, plus the lack of downforce really hurts him the chances. But Nirotowski, he's actually proved quite well in this, apart from the disconnection that happened last week in China.
Yeah, it's surprising to see to hear that about the Sauber. Last year in F4 we did have a winner in the Sauber with XRL Great Digging in his actual debut for XRL. So it is possible, but you just have to work hard.
Indeed you do. Now Nirotowski going for turn 4, gets right on the inside curve there, almost straight lines the corner. Something you definitely can't be seen doing, or you are going to gain an advantage. Definitely not what you want. You're all very quiet out there tonight. I have no idea if any of you are actually watching. I currently got a stream account of 0 on my software, but I don't know how reliable it is. So all of you hopefully are watching the action. Going for turns 9 and 10 there. Nirotowski, oh, you could almost feel him overcooking the car there. Getting a little bit of traction and slip out of the hairpin at turn 10. We saw quite a few guys going wide there last night. And Nirotowski also taking that strange line that we saw last night from Exvelocity driving for Lotus, where he gets all 4 tyres almost off the track before turn 11. Have you got any idea why a driver would do that?
My opinion is they want to try and get as wide of an entry as they can so they can not hit that awful curve, because I know from experience, if you spin there, you're 95% chance of going to smash into the wall and destroy your car.
Well, here goes Nirotowski coming on towards break the beams here, and on that time, a 130.1. That was near the top end of the F1 division last night. Nirotowski throwing down the gauntlet, and Nikita, meanwhile, has just started a lap on the prime tyres. I get the feeling Psychic Taco may have actually bought in his lap, because I think he was right behind Nirotowski. Oh, but Nikita almost spinning the car for turn 1, treating that more like a rally driver than a Formula 1 driver. Exciting, ragged stuff, but not going to get you a lot of pace or tyre wear. Into turn 4, Nikita going for the inside line. Again, the only female driver we've got so far in XRL. All of you out there watching, I'm sure there's a few of you girls watching on the streams. If you're interested in racing, get on the forum and sign up. We'd love to see you going head to head. Oh, Nikita going wide there at turn 7 though. All 4 tyres off onto the curb. That's the kind of thing you will get caught on by the stewards if you're not careful.
Jamie's got provisional pole by 0.02 of a second to Nirotowski.
Wow, that's incredibly close. If it wasn't for Psychic Taco and also XRL Steve B949 last night, we'd have seen no closer result for a long time. Nikita, DRS open, heading out towards turn 11, taking a slightly wider line, getting the outside curve but not putting all tyres on. But all drivers seem to be finding it difficult to get inside the lines at turn 11. A lot of them seem to be getting close to cutting it every single time. And at turn 13 there, she almost lost the car into 14 as a result. Went very, very wide there, Nikita. A very scruffy lap so far. We saw that drifting turn 1 and a few mistakes in the middle sector. This is more of a banker lap from Nikita here. I'm not sure what the pace is going to be. Heading for the line though. Oh, I'm not actually sure here. 1:31.2, good enough for P5, and on the prime tyres compared with the options. Like Ian Unstoppable, he's gone for a second lap, and he's not improved. He's on a 1:31.3, so a good position. Meantime, XRL LGS points out on the street something we were going to get to at the end of qualifying, but I might as well cover it now since he put the message. It is indeed very sad news to hear that Australian legend Jack Brabham passed away earlier today. Of course, Jack Brabham is the only F1 driver to win a championship in a car he designed and built himself. Absolute legend from the south, and paved the way for the likes of Alan Jones, the likes of Mark Webber to really come forward and attack from the southern hemisphere, and he will be sorely missed. And if anyone saw the comments that Sterling Moss gave about his driving and everything else, that's probably the greatest tribute you can find.
Terrible news, but he gave what he did to the sport, and when he was racing, he was truly at the top of his game.
That era of drivers, when you got the likes of Sterling Moss, you got the likes of Jack Brabham, the likes of Wamo Fangio, Alberto Ascari, all the old guys, and you think now, looking back at the bathtub cars and how it seemed a bit more like a gentleman drivers era, would you still want to go toe-to-toe with those guys in a race? I don't think I would, because I'm pretty sure they'd still spank my Mac Daddy arse.
Them guys were more men than these guys today, unfortunately, but due to the safety, and it's good to see that we haven't had a death since, unfortunately, Senna. But obviously you can't forget the old racers, they were truly amazing.
Indeed they were. So all of you out there, rest in peace is our greatest message from Excite Racing League to Jack Brabham, and our thoughts of course are with his family and many of the other drivers we've lost over the years, the likes of Jochen Rindt, the likes of Ayrton Senna, the likes of Gilles Villeneuve, who only recently, it's been 32 years would you believe since he passed away, when he died at Zolder in Belgium. It just shows how much time passes. And of course Senna, and let's not forget of course Roland Ratzenberger, both 20 years on this year. God, do I feel old now. Sagitaka goes on the final bend to try and get towards the end of the lap on an option tyres run, and again he aborts. Sagitako's not having the best of running qualifying here. He showed his strength last night in the F1 division, but doesn't seem to be actually having the pace here to bring it in the GP2. That's surprising me.
Perhaps he's just trying to find the perfect time to get the lap in.
Well, we've got Nero Toasty back out for another run. Of course, only 2,000 of a second between him and Jamie at the head of the chain here. So it'll be interesting to see if Nero Toasty can find a few more tenths to try and sneak maybe into the 129s. We saw that XRL Fearless and TRL Button were the only drivers in the F1 division to do that last night. So Nero Toasty and Jamie are underlying their pace here because they've easily matched their betters from the higher divisions. And who knows, if we see the championship go out towards the end, these drivers, they might not only qualify for F1 next season, they may well be fighting for the championship, and that'd be great to see.
It'd definitely be great to see someone challenge Button. He's had it too easy so far. He's just like the Mercedes, unfortunately.
Well, you can say that about all kinds of motorsport having the best car and the best time available to you, but TRL Button has certainly made it count. And let's not forget, of course, he has been pushed a few times. XRL Fearless showed in qualifying he wasn't afraid of him, and we even had Tarko getting close towards him at the end of the race last night. Let's not forget that it wasn't as easy as it looked, but he still had the ultimate advantage. And maybe in the European season, for the more traditional tracks, we might see the other guys start to catch up. As Nero Toasty gets a bit too close to the inside curve there, might have cut the lines, and actually has aborted his lap, so he's not going to gain any advantage. XR Stu being out for Nami, while in P3 at the moment. So two of the guys who raced last night are in the top 4 or 5 positions. XR Stuart really showed decent pace last night before he was unfortunately caught out in the middle pack when he ended up going from like P3 to P8 after only a few laps. Who want to get a cleaner lap in here, I'm sure, and try and get a cleaner race? Heading around turn 15, Stewart keeps it nice and tight to the inside acre there. Really clipped the curve beautifully. But still got quite a bit of kick it. Well, I don't even know why it's called a turn because it isn't one. But 130 from Stewart takes provisional pole. And that puts him ahead by a 10th and a half from Jamie. With Jamie's just going round the final corner now. So can Jamie find a mix? No, he can't. He's going to the pits. So Jamie's only got one more chance to catch up. Meanwhile, Ian Stockport, another racer from last night, currently in P6 in the Williams, acquitted himself quite nicely last night, was able to race quietly and consistently at the back and pick up some very valuable points and gain a lot of experience. Do you think he's going to be eyeing up a podium tonight?
Well, it's good to see him racing last night. It was the first time I've seen him actually finish a race this season, so it's good potential for him. As long as he can keep with the connection tonight, he's got definitely a good chance of getting a top 5 finish.
Exactly, it's a question of being able to stay the course. We saw last night, connection was one of the real issues that we've had of late, and drivers have been finding it difficult to make it to the end. You can almost say it's like our version of mechanical failures, but it's not really fair. It's all very arbitrary. And Ian Stockport going through turns 13 into 14, cut the apex nicely there actually, really rolled that quite beautifully. And this looks like quite a solid lap here. And if you look at the top table, there's only 0.3 of a second between the top 6. That's insane. Coming towards the line, has he improved Ian Stockport? No, he hasn't. He's not improved, so he's still on a 133.1. And again, a 131.1 from Snipe Zone. He's in P7, and he's only a few tenths off, so literally only just over half a second, covering the top 7 at the moment. But Snipe Zone somehow going to turn 14 for Lotus, a chance here to gain a bit more pace, and he's on the prime tyres. Now, if he... Oh, I don't even know if he's on a lap here. He's started weaving his tyres. That's very interesting. Is this an in-lap, and is he going to try and do a last-minute burn on the options? Time doesn't look good enough for a position to me, so I think he's going to be going straight into the pits. As indeed he does.
Toasty is getting ready for another lap.
Yeah, I've just seen him going past Awesome Panda. Meanwhile, John Digweed, one of the newer drivers, on 132.0. That's only a second off the current provisional pole.
Yeah,
and it's 10th place. Even so, 1 second. That's not a big difference whatsoever. Now, JB2503 has gone out for another outlap. He's currently in P2. But near a toast, let's round on board as he goes from turn to 2 and 3. And of course, the new driver, John Duggan, gets out of the way. Into turn 4, the Sauber driver getting the apex beautifully at the S-Star. But look how wide he's got at 4 there. That's surely costing 2 or 3 tenths, and I can't see him improving now. But let's round on board anyway. Through turns 5, 6, and 7. Getting nice apex there at the end of the fast sweepers. So that may have picked him a bit more time. Up the hill from 8, where you get terrible traction in these cars. Going through the 9 and using it as the braking point for 10. He gets very close to the inside apex. And we've got the bollard lying everywhere on the track. People are still dancing with death. Going head to head with the bollard. You really don't want to do that here at Bahrain. Just ask F1 Nige and Tom 625. On the street, meanwhile, LGS is saying last night the in-game connection was good. Don't know why there was lag on spectate. I get the feeling it might have been alright for you, but a lot of the other drivers are really finding it difficult. So I think it's one of those where it's real heads or tails as to what your connection's like to certain drivers. And for me, that's a problem that's endemic with a lot of motor racing games online. Forza the same role. And Nira Toasty's boxing. Nira Toasty is not going to improve. His qualifying is over. He's currently in provisional P3, but that might be under threat. We've got Ian Stockport who's got for one more run. Evidently he's going to push his tyres till they burn here, Ian Stockport. Is he going to be able to find the pace to get enough time and improve?
Burn has gone up to 8th place, 1.5 seconds behind Stewart with a 1:31.5.
Shows a big difference in the pace towards the lower end of the points, doesn't it? But Ian Stockport now going through turn 14, heading out towards 15, getting decent traction there. He's got to nail this final corner. Oh, I didn't mean like that. He's gone literally over the inside like a Dakar driver, and he's gone straight into the pits, evidently knowing that was a corner cut. Nikita, meanwhile, still on the prime tyres in P7 on a 1:31.2. Now, she's gone for the reverse strategy here, starting on the primes and going for the options. That might work. We did see that happen last night with the guys like Psychic Taco and the guys fighting for the podium like XRL Bobbert. So it might be a strategy that may lead out towards the podium here. Has she found any extra pace? It's going to be mightily close. And 1:31.0 goes to P6. That's a second off. Wow. Trying to find if any of the lead cars are actually on a lap here. Austin Panther's just started one. Stewart's got out on another lap, but I don't think he's going to bother finishing it because he's got no one now to threaten him by the looks of it. Although Jamie is actually out on a lap. I forgot about him. He just started. He's coming in for the final corner now. Has he found any time? Can he threaten Stewart? Going for the final corner. Oh, a bit of a wiggle there, but this looks pretty close to me. No, he's not improved. So unless XRL Fozzy or someone like that can pull a miracle out of the bag, you'd expect that Stewart is going to start on pole position. And we saw last night in the F1 division, he's got the pace, but can he keep it there for the race distance? That's the big question. Heading for a turn 8, XRL Fozzy getting on the traction there at the Ferrari, doing what he can to try and get closer to the front. On a 130.4 meanwhile, that's only 4 tenths off, and that's 5th place. On a race distance, that's a long time. DRS flap over from XRL Fozzy as he heads towards turn 11, going a little wide on the inside there, and that's thrown him off the track. Any chance he had has surely gone now. That's surely evaporated. LMG Killers, meanwhile, signing in on the street saying, hello, everyone. Well, good evening to you. Now, Nikita just made it out for another lap. Has she gained any pace here? No, she hasn't. I'm surprised she did that. Why wanted to protect the tyres? Awesome Panda on the prime, currently in B10. Can he gain any time to go up the field? It's going to be the last one over the line here, and it's going to be pretty close. Has he gained any time at all? No, he hasn't. XRL Fozzy, he's definitely not improved, so that is the result. Let's bring you the qualifying result at the top then. XRL Stewart B949 on a 130.003 in pole position. Jamie 2503 on a 130.167. 3,000ths of a second behind is Nero Toasty. And then in P4, Psychic Taco on a 130.2, so only 2.5 cents between the top 4. XRL Fozzy on a 130.4 in 5th, and then after that, it's going down to the primes runners and the slower runners of the options on the 131s. But if that top 5 gets close to each other in the first corners, maybe it's someone like XRL Fozzy gets a sneaky move up the inside of turn 1, that could really scupper the race for these guys like Taco and like Stewart. You've got to keep an eye out for these guys at the start. So go on then, Chris. Has any strange statistics been generated about that qualifying?
Well, that's Stewart's second pole position of this season after Australia and now Bahrain. I think that maybe Taco's possibly best qualifying session. Don't quote me on that one though.
Well, in the meantime, now, let's get ourselves ready as we sit in the paddock. Of course, in the desert of Bahrain, there's no threat of rain whatsoever here. Now, we've only got 11 runners and riders tonight in the GP2 division. Slightly depleted grid, unfortunately. If we go to the actual grid order then, you've got, in the middle of the pack, you've got Nikita on the prime tyres, who looked like she was quite handy. If she gets a decent long run at the start, could she cause major problems for the guys at the front, like Stewart, Jamie and Nira, do you think?
Well, she did that at China. She started on the primes, qualifying 9th unfortunately on that occasion, but still managed to get a top 4 finish. So I don't see what could stop her. The only thing you can obviously have a look at is possibly driver aggression if she tries to go in for an early move at turn 1.
You've also got to watch out for the track limits as well, because we saw quite a lot of drivers potentially extending through the chicanes of 5 to 7, and also we saw as well in turn 11 where drivers were going very wide on the entry and then clipping the inside, almost cutting the corner. So that's something that's got to be watched out for as well. There's going to be a lot of things to pay attention to here in the desert. XRL Stewart showed his pace last night, but for me, I still would actually back Psychic Taco. That second place in the F1 division will give him a massive amount of confidence with his race pace. He did say last night he expected more from qualifying, but was still able to fight in the race. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's popping the champagne cork at the end of the race. Any predictions from you, Chris? Who are you backing?
Well, I think after Taco's performance last night, he's definitely odds-on favourite, but I'm going to go for Jamie or possibly even Toasty to win this one. I don't think Stewart's got the race pace.
Well, of course, all you people watching there on the stream tonight, brought to you by GT Omega Racing and GamePod.co.uk, exclusively live to Twitch.tv. Get your predictions in. You can either, of course, if you're watching on the Twitch app, send them to myself or write us tag on via Xbox Live, or you can also use the chat box. It's open. The likes of LGS and LNG Killers have already got in there. LGS himself reckons that Toasty is for the win because he thinks Fozzie will be free stopping. Well, the only way we're going to know is by getting out to the track. So we're going to be here for 57 laps at the Sakir circuit, just on the outskirts of Manama in Bahrain. Get ready to watch, and maybe we'll get just as much action as we did last night. So we are back to the desert of the Real for the fourth round of the GP2 division. Stu B949 on pole position with the likes of Nira Toasty, Psychic Taco, Jamie 2503 all close behind, and we have Nikita on the opposite strategy in P6. Once those 5 lights go out, we're going to be racing here in Sakir, and it's lights out. Away they go. Heading out towards turn 1, Stuart's actually not got the best of starts there. Jamie in the Mercedes looking to attack. Meanwhile, Nero Toasty in the start, going on the outside. But Jamie 2.03 faster than the inside. Stuart tops across him, goes wide on the outside. This is going to be a massive move here. And we already see Stuart overtaken. He's going P3, he's been contacted. He on the side there, I think that moment, the Ferrari. And as a result of that, he's down to P6, P7 even. Snipezone goes through to P4. And we've already seen one of the Ferraris getting totally in the way there. That moment, XRL Fozzie getting close there. He's down to P3. Jamie 2503 lies astern in the second Mercedes. We've got Bo Mercedes 1 and 2, Psychic Taco second, Jamie 2503 third.
Yeah, that was Toasty. You got a side pod glitched into turn 3 there.
So what, did Toasty get side pod glitched into the side of Stuart B949?
Yep.
Well, just wants to show here, absolutely wonderful. Fantastic game. Dan Snipezone, meanwhile, he's the real gainer in this. He's in P4 on the prime tyres on the Lotus here, and Ian Stopper is in P5. So out of nowhere, Snipezone's got himself absolutely in the running as XRL Fuzzy gets a better up for Psychic Taco, turn 11, trying to go around the outside of turn 13 into 14. This will be a mighty brave move. If you can make this stick there side by side with Psychic Taco has the line, but XRL Fuzzy's not giving up, trying to take the tighter line and get away with Taco there, deploying his curves to pull away. But now XRL Fozzie are looking to get in the slipstream down towards turn 1 and get after Jamie 2503, who has provisional lead at the moment, but Psychic Taco will be hustling his teammate. Curse deployed from XRL Fozzie, staring at the diffuser of the Mercedes. No DRS available to lap 3, of course, so it's not going to be easy for XRL Fozzie. He's going to do it the old-fashioned way, but he's pulling out of the slipstream to the right. Oh, he backs out of the move, seeing that Taco probably would have cut across him there. Bollard in the middle of the track, that's not making things easy. Meanwhile, Snipezone in P4 is going to be under pressure and being unstoppable. Behind them, we have a whole swathe of cars, as in P6, Nikita's remained where she was, not gained any ground, while Stuart is now in P7, being chased by the awesome Panda in the Lotus. Stuart B949 makes a cheeky dive on the inside, and Nikita goes wide at 4, and Awesome Panda thinks about following him through into 5 and 6, with mighty aggressive movement to pull this off. Sergio Perez and Jessica Nikita goes over the inside there, and Awesome Panda goes through at the end of turn 7 into the braking zone for 8. Can he keep the position? Or Nikita, can she apply the pressure down towards turn 10? She's already thinking about the outside of turn 9. This will be a very ballsy move, and Nikita realises she's really out of grip, falls in behind, but a mistake from Awesome Panda. He goes wide at turn 10. Nikita cuts to the inside. Is she going to pull ahead? Yes, she is. Great driving there. And now all of a sudden, Awesome Panda's under real pressure from the sister Ferrari of John Digweed, the Davidson here, going around turn 11. But he's just not on the pace to catch up to Panda in the Lotus. Woo, catch your breath while you can, people.
Unfortunately for Sauber, they're currently 10th and 11th out of the runners. They're in last places.
It just shows what happens when the side pod glitch happens. I mean, who was it that contacted Nero Toasty? I was on board with Stuart, and unfortunately my camera view went to the wrong one, so I didn't see it.
Yeah, I was on board with Stuart. I was looking at the back of it, and it's going to be definitely have to be investigated at the end of the race. But Taco's passed Jamie for the lead of the race.
Meanwhile, Ian Stumbles looking at the inside of the System Lotus, and he's going to dive by DRS system pass, goes over the bollard, it's in the middle of the circuit, not afraid of that. Snipes on trying to attack back down towards turn 4 here, and he's going to deploy his curse to try and get straight back ahead. Obviously not waiting with DRS, he wants to get straight back past Snipes on, trying to go around the outside. Nico Rosberg trying to Lewis Hamilton, but there's just no grip for Snipes on, and he has to fall back into 5th place. And meanwhile, look at the two Mercedes. This is Hamilton and Rosberg for real. GP2 503. It's all over Psychic Taco, who gets a terrible run out of turn 8. And that's going to give Jamie the advantage on the DRS towards turn 11. Into turn 10. Can Jamie get a decent line here? He's certainly got a better run than Taco, but a bit too wide. Deploys his curse. There goes the flat. But then poor traction up the corner for Jamie there. Just see that when he got into the higher gears, his wheels just didn't grip the circuit. Jamie 203 staring at the back of Psychic Taco. Behind him, meanwhile, running in P3, is XRL Fozzy, who's done really impressive to keep out of the way here and get himself up into the higher echelons and onto the provisional podium. Ian Stumble, meanwhile, doing a brilliant job with Snipes on behind in 4th and 5th place. But all eyes are on the leading pair at the moment as Jamie 2503 goes onto the inside, collects the inside bollard there, dances with death, but just about gets away with that. No cars available, but he is going to have to DRS a flat. There it goes, down towards turn 1, going past the slipstream. Is he going to be able to get close enough to attack Taco? I don't think he's got the legs, but that closing speed is gaining him ever so slightly. Is he going to try a late lunge? No, he thinks better of it, but Psychic Taco's a bit wide. Jamie 2503 hoovers up the bollard, goes onto the inside, turn 2, and going round the outside of 3 for a magnificent pass. But Psychic Taco would fancy to go right back past him into turn 4, and XRL Fozzy's looking at the pair of these two too. Drifting wide there, Jamie 2503 getting poor grip on the corner, but Psychic Taco's just not got the position to get past him. Oh, contact made! Jamie 2503 getting poor entry into turn 5, and Taco very nearly spins his teammate out. Talk about art imitating life here, viewers. This is as close as Hamilton and Rosberg were for real under lights here in Sakir. A Psychic Taco backs out of the move into turn 10, but Jamie goes wide, almost off the track, goes over the bollard, but Taco's just not close enough. And meantime, XRL Fozzy now is having a go. These 3 cars are covered by maybe 0.3 of a second. Exciting stuff here in Sakir.
But this is good. This is real life race here in Bahrain.
Oh, Psychic Taco down on the inside of turn 13 as Jamie makes a mistake and goes wide, but that's going to give Jamie the advantage of the DRS down towards turn 1, and Jamie actually sticking very, very close to the back of his teammate, looking at that diffuser, trying to get his way back through, and these two have got to be careful that they don't hit each other or ruin each other's pit stop strategies. And Taco goes wide, goes off the circuit a little bit, gets poor traction. Jamie 2503 fancies an opportunity here, but Taco defends with curse, and the DRS flap is now open. Psychic Taco is under attack here as Jamie deploys his curse, goes on the inside. Who's going to have the better line into 1 and 2? Jamie may have overshot that. Psychic Taco emulated him with the Hamilton did on Rosberg, but Taco has not got the grip. And in the meantime, now we've got XRL Fozzy getting close with Taco, attacking down towards turn 4. He favours this move. He's on the inside. Can he get the car stopped? Jamie 2503 chomps across him on the outside. He's going the long way round, and Psychic Taco's just not got the move done. Meanwhile, behind them, XRL Fozzy is keeping these guys honest. We got a 3-car scrap for the lead here. I wish I could cover the guys behind, but all eyes are on the top podium position as XRL Fozzy is doing everything he can here to attack and get this move done. On the stream, LTS says good use of curves by Taco. Well, not good enough because he's not got the lead back yet, but he has the DRS down towards turn 11, and he's staring at the back of his teammate. He's got half his curves bar available, so a great opportunity. Jamie locks up, goes a little wide. Psychic Taco gets a better line as a result. This is giving him the momentum. If he can keep it through turns 12, 13 and 14, he may well have this done into turn 1. But how long can he remain there? Because these two are literally overtaking each other like a touring car race at the moment. Saki Taco, I think he's fancying getting DRS and diving up the inside of the final corner. We saw Kimi Räikkönen do that in the real race last year for Lotus. DRS is going to be available. He's already deploying his curse, Taco. He's already side by side with his teammate. There goes the curse. There goes the DRS. Now can Jamie follow him in the slipstream and fight back? He's got right under the toe of his teammate, but the speed is just too much and he has to cede the place. But Taco goes a little wide. The ball gets flipped into the air. No one's clearing that away. The marshals here in Bahrain are really rubbish as Jamie gets behind Taco to try and attack again. Into turn 4, Saki Taco goes a little wide. Jamie 2503 gets a little bit of tail slip, getting on the inside of the corner. Meanwhile, someone's just gone past in P5, I believe. I don't know who that was. Well, that's inside of turn 4. Oh, Jamie's gone so wide at turn 7 there, extended the track by an extra kilometre, and that's got him much closer to Saki Taco. He can't afford to keep doing that, or he is going to get himself penalties. Going through turn 10, Jamie 2503, trying to get close to Saki Taco. DRS flat open. He's only got a little bit of his curse here, and Taco has fought to pull a gap. Heading out towards turn 1, Jamie might not be close enough. Going to watch this move before getting back to that battle in 4th and 5th because those guys are nailed to each other. But Jamie 2503 gets better line through turn 13 and 14. Taco under real pressure. Now Jamie, I think he's going to try and stay just behind his teammate, get the DRS and then go to the inside, just like Kimi Räikkönen did. But he may have gone a bit too wide there and not making Saki Taco the momentum. Taco's going to get back through, but with DRS available, Jamie should have the straight line speed here to pull away from his teammate, but Taco's not going to make it easy. And Taco filters into the DRS slipstream, but now XRL Fuzzy fancies to go into turn 1. Saki Taco under real pressure here, but Fuzzy backs out of the move. Meantime, LGS making some comments about Jamie's track move at turn 5, claiming he's gone over got track extending there, so we'll keep an eye on that. That's one thing we'll keep an eye on. But in the meantime, Jamie 2503 just about gets away from his teammate, going on the inside there. Oh, I can kind of see what LGS mean, and that's off the track at turn 7. That's the second time. Jamie's got to be careful. If he keeps doing that, that's going to easily equal to a penalty at the end of the race. We know that the XRL are totting up on that with the stewards here. Into turn 10 as Jamie goes wide. Saki Taco has the slightly tighter line. DRS available. Kurz is going to be available to munch on too. Can Saki Taco get close enough to attack it to turn 11? Do you think he's going to try and use this to get closer and then follow through turn 1? And it's going to be a question of who dives in first for the undercut here, because that could be one of the things that decides this race between these two drivers. Saki Taco sticking with Jamie 2503, not making this easy at all. Getting right up to the back. Saki Taco really attacking his mentor here. His teammate going into the final corner. Both guys taking the corner beautifully there. Oh, but Saki Taco hits the curb, spins the car. XRL Fuzzy goes through, takes second place. Disaster for Taco. Driver error has cost him dear.
All the curves of the message that he sent Taco before the race has paid off.
Ian O'Scott going into turn 1, trying to get close to the back of the Lotus driver, but he's just not close enough to attack here. And Snipes, though, doing a really good job. He's on the prime tyres, didn't really qualify well, but he's running P4 and only a few seconds off Saki Taco. Snipes, though, could be a real threat for the podium at the end of the race, especially if he can make a 2-stop work. Going for turns 5, 6 and 7, and Ian O'Scott was lost a lot of ground of Snipe Zone. Snipe Zone's evidently got a car that's really tailored for these high-speed changes of direction, and on the prime tyres, he's really doing a damn good job. P6, meanwhile, the Awesome Panda, another one doing a good job, and in P7, near a Toasty. So he's really having to fight his way back through. XRL Stewart in P8, all the way down in P9 is John Digweed, and then in 10th position is Nikita, with her tyres looking absolutely shredded. Wow. John Digweed looks at a move at Stewart there going to the end of turn 11, but he's just not close enough to catch what's wrong with the Ferrari. Oh, we'll get XRL Stewart going all 4 tyres off there at turn 14. Something you can't afford to get away with too much. And now Nikita attacking John Digweed into the final corner. She's going to stay behind for now, get the DRS and try and move it. And indeed, big mistake with Digweed. Gone wide onto the outside curb at turn 16. So Nikita's got a chance here. She's already ahead. And the DRS will mean she should pull away. But John Digweed's actually got the advantage of DRS himself on the back of the system. On the back of Stewart in the McLaren, but he's just not close enough to attack it for turn 1. Meanwhile, Chris, I'm going to ask you to start your track extending watching soon to see if we've got anything to back up the footage we've already seen.
Already ahead of you, I've already started.
So that's why you're being so quiet, that makes sense, no worries. Okay, in the meantime, Ian Stop with P5, trying to get close to the back of Snipes on the Lotus. He's actually fallen away quite a lot here, and he's now under big pressure from Awesome Panda and the sister Lotus. Both the Lotus drivers doing a good job, 4th and 6th at the moment, on the prime tyres. Now we've got Psychic Taco with P3, trying to close up, but XRL Fozzie, meanwhile, has not fallen away from Jamie. XRL Fozzie is now a threat for the victory.
Still wouldn't count Tucker out of this.
No, but one mistake, he's not lost too much time. He's now got clean air as well, so that might give him the pace he needs to just close up on his teammate, especially if he decides to go for an undercut. I mean, he's got more to lose now by being in 3rd place, so he's the one who's got to go with a more aggressive strategy, or at least you expect so. Now, XRL Fozzie using the curves. Is he close enough for DRS? No, he's not. But he is getting closer to the back of Jamie's Mercedes, and it's only a matter of time, you'd think, before he gets that assist, and may well possibly put himself in the fight for the victory here in the desert of Bahrain. On the street, meanwhile, you've all been quiet aside from LGS. Is the race keeping you all too breathless? I bet it is. Going up the inside, XRL Fozzie going for a turn 4, trying to catch up to the back of Jamie 2503, our provisional leader. As Jamie kicks up a cloud of dust through turns 5, 6 and 7. Oh, he's made a mistake, went too far over the curve at turn 7, nearly spun the car, and as a result of that, XRL Fozzie has now really closed the gap on him, and he's going to be able to start applying the pressure and the squeeze. XRL Fozzie's got a great opportunity now. XRL Fozzie being a much more smooth driver, much more like the Alan Prost versus the Aston Senna of Jamie 2503 so far, whereas Jamie's all on the ragged edge all the time and hanging it over. XRL Fozzie's been a lot more consistent and a lot more precise, and that's the kind of thing that can really make a difference over a race distance, especially with high tyre wear and 100% fuel load.
Not to mention the Bollard Diva.
Exactly, go too close to those and who knows what's going to happen to your car. A real case of Russian roulette. Heading towards turn 15, XRL Fozzie dropped away a little bit, used a bit of his curves to try and close the gap at the end to turn 15. Oh, and XRL Fozzie watches Jamie get a little ragged but gets away with that. Jamie dummies for the pits and Fozzie goes in. Fozzie's decided to box early and go for the undercut. That's a surprise. So both Psychic Taco and XRL and Jamie 2503 are through. And that also puts Snipes on through in P4 now into P3. So it's a question of where XRL Fozzie comes out in all this. The last thing he wants is to get stuck in that big chain of cars that's going on from like P7 to P9. Stewart's gone through in P6. Coming out behind him though, under attack here, we've got Indira Toasty in the Sauber. Meanwhile, down in P8, Nikita in the Red Bull, and I think Fozzie's come out right at the tail of these guys. XRL Bernie in 9, and indeed, John Digweed in 10th. XRL Fozzie's come out behind a whole train of cars. The absolute worst place to come out.
Unfortunately, we've got some sad news for you. Snipe Zone has a 10-second in-game penalty.
Well, we'll have to find out what that was for and review it after the race. Evidently, it's not something that you're going to get away with normally. But meantime, XRL Fozzie attacking his teammate John Digweed. John Digweed realising he's on the slower tyres and the fact that he's been out of position here lets Fozzie through. Now, Fozzie's gone for a second set of the options. That's interesting. As Nira Toasty ahead of XRL Bernie in the sister Sauber. So Nira Toasty is under big pressure here and already under DRS. That move looked absolutely done and dusted. But the XRL Bernie's persisting. They brush tyres and Bernie thinks I'll try to drive around the outside and he spins the car, almost collects John Digweed just about gets away with that. I'm not sure if that's a racing incident or not. That will have to definitely be reviewed there. You might argue that XRL Fozzy and the touching wheels caused that. Meanwhile, Nikita and Stuart B949 out drag racing for the final corner, and they're brushing tyres. Who's got the DRS here? Stuart gets ahead and it's that, but Nikita nearly spins the car, gets on the curb, and Nira Toasty goes through as Stuart and Nira Toasty both box at the same time.
XRL Bernie comes into the pits as well.
And he was on the prime tyres. He must have lost his wing.
Damage. No, he's got front wing damage. He's only lost an end plate though. And a double stack.
I mean, it's that John Digweed. Now, interestingly, I think Psychic Taco's been in because there's a Mercedes ahead of XRL Fozzy. It's Jamie who's come out just ahead of XRL Fozzy, but he's on the prime tyres, whereas Fozzy is on the options. They're running P5 and 6 at the moment. That'll put Psychic Taco briefly into the lead. But the question is, what kind of pace can Jamie get on those prime tyres? He goes so far wide at 7, didn't even try to take the corner. But we've seen him do that a lot of times. He's really got to be careful, or that could be a serious penalty for the stewards. Oh, and XRL Fozzy spins the car going into 10. I think he's had to brake a lot sooner than he expected and downshift quickly to stop the car from hitting the back of Jamie and may have accidentally put it into the wrong gear. Jamie gets a brief reprieve there, and I don't know how much of that was deserved. Jamie 2.03 now staring at the back of that. Well, I believe that's Nikita in the Rumble. And Nikita gets a poor ride off turn 14. Indeed it is, she's running P4. But right behind her is Jamie on fresh prime tyres. He's going to have the DRS, wants to move into the last corner. Oh, that's a disappearing wedge. Nikita just about gives him room. Great drive from Nikita there to ensure she didn't hit him. And Nikita's boxed for lap 12 on the prime tyres.
Then up a taco.
But Taco was on the options. He wasn't on the primes. Nikita did her 12 lap on the prime tyres. That's shocking tyre wear.
Fozzy has leapfrogged Psychic Taco in the pit.
He was already ahead of Psychic Taco because of that mistake.
Fozzy stayed ahead of Psychic Taco from the pits.
We'll call that a criticism. I'm not even daring to say that was a Murrayism. You're not worthy. Going into turn 5, XRL Fozzy getting slightly. I'm not sure what happened. His car seemed to just slow down and then almost come to a stop. I don't know if it was lag or what, but that was very strange. Getting on the inside of turn 6 there. And that again has lost him ground to Jamie, who is theoretically the leader at the moment because we've got the 2 Lotuses, I believe, of Awesome Panda and Snipe Zone up at the front. Awesome Panda in P2 and indeed Snipe Zone up in the lead. Now, this is where I was talking earlier. If these Lotus drivers can make a 2-stop strategy happen, could an unlikely 1 and 2 for Lotus happen here in Bahrain?
Depending if the 10-second penalty gets taken off the sight zone, there is a possibility.
That's the thing, isn't it? Because he's already got that disadvantage holding over him. And Psychic Taco now chasing after XRL Fozzy and his teammate Jamie. These guys battling for what should be a net lead after the pit stop cycle has been completed. And the big question is, how long can the Lotus drivers go? Can they make, say, 20-22 laps? If they can, that theoretically puts them on a 2-stopper. But at the same time, if they can't, they might have to go back and switch into a late 3, and that will compromise them.
That's where the Mercedes are in advantage. They're now on their prime tyres. They've already done their option stint. Fozzy, he hasn't even gone onto the prime tyres yet.
Well, again, it's a question of how many qualifying laps Fozzy's set. If Fozzy only set a couple of laps, he might well have a fresh set of option tyres available, and that will give him the edge on pace for now. Of course, though, it puts him at risk of getting stuck in the battle between the likes of Nira Toasty, the likes of Stupid Apple. Oh, big collision! Jamie 2.03 appeared to stop, and he's actually, I think it was a lagging car, and Nira Toasty has lost, not Nira Toasty, XRL Fozzy has lost his front wing. Jamie has lagged miles ahead, and XRL Fozzy now has got no front wing. He's been taken out of the race for a totally arbitrary reason, and for that I think we may have to ask Jamie to consider leaving the game, because that kind of ghosting is the last thing we want to be seeing here on this track. XRL Fozzy's chances have been absolutely obliterated through no fault of his own.
Would you like me to send the dreaded message to Jamie?
I want to keep an eye on him for a couple of more laps. That's the one thing I want to do. I don't want to pull the trigger early. I want to keep an eye on his car just to see what it's like. And if it continues to be as bad as it is, I think we may have to pull the plug.
It's funny because a couple of corners before that I see him go straight off into the gravel and then comes back on track again. So he's definitely lagging, but that is absolutely terrible.
But I mean, that car, I mean, a lagging car normally, you know, it causes problems, but that is very much a ghosting car. If he's been smashed into like that, that's very, very dangerous. And again, how can you rate, you know, it's like we saw the racing that Tarko and his teammate were putting up before, Jamie 2503. You know, it's like, if he lags like that, and that means what could happen there? Safety car, anything's possible, couldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, good sporting thing from Fozzie. He stayed in the race, so good, well done for him for that.
Indeed. Now I'm watching up here, keep an eye on Jamie's car, and now Fozzie's really been compromised. We've got a battle going on down in P6. We've got Ian Unstoppable actually under big pressure from Stuart B949. He tries to drive around the outside of turn 8, but all 4 tyres were over the white line there. I think that was a potential illegal overtake for me. His tyres may have marginally been over the white line. We will have to review that after the race. Lap 15.
Taco's had a little bit of an incident at turn 11, but managed to keep it.
Meanwhile, Ian Unstoppable with a DRS attacking Stuart B949. And Stuart there goes a bit too close to the inside, cuts off 4 tyres over. That's the last thing we want to keep seeing. Too much of that and you'll find yourself in trouble. These guys have really been quite aggressive here tonight. I've been quite surprised at the mistakes that have been made and the track issues that have been going on. After last night's masterclass in F1, I'm really surprised here by the GP2 drivers.
And Awesome Panda's pitted from 2nd place.
Well, this should put him out behind Ian Unstoppable because he's, interestingly, I think that's John Digweed who's got in the Ferrari in P5, so he's going to come out behind Awesome Panda. Awesome Panda, meanwhile, has got Ian Unstoppable. Ian Unstoppable puts to the inside, uses the pit lane as the extra runoff, goes on the inside there, but look at that for Stuart, finds the traction, and I believe that was a great piece of defensive driving to hold off the Williams there. Great performance from Stuart. Going through on the inside, Ian Unstoppable getting closer to the back of the performing Stuart McLaren, trying to get as close as he can for 5, 6 and 7. Ian Unstoppable looking at the McLaren changing direction beautifully there. Not quite on the pace in this sector of the lap, but moving further forward. We've got someone off the track. Who's that? Someone's off the track at turn 11 briefly, and that was Psychic Tarko. I think Tarko may have spun his car.
Yeah, definitely Tarko.
DRS available to Ian Unstoppable. He's no closer to his teammate. Now behind me, while Awesome Panda is under pressure here because he's got Neratosti and the Sauber attacking him. And Neratosti showed great pace. On the inside of turn 11, they're side by side. Going into 12 and 13. These drivers giving each other a wide berth, trying to avoid hitting each other. Neratosti sizes up Awesome Panda. Awesome Panda filters back into 6th place, going on a very tight line through 14. Neratosti fancies an opportunity to drive past him here. They're side by side now. It's Neratosti who's going to let off the gas first to get the DRS here. Going into the final corner, Neratosti has got the position. Great overtake, but he's also gone wide at turns 14, 15 and 16. And that's going to allow Awesome Panda to come back at him on the DRS. Flap open, curves deployed, heading towards turn 1. Awesome Panda in the Lotus, attacking Neratosti in the Sauber. Going into turn 1, but he's just not got the pace. But Neratosti goes a little wide at turn 1, setting up for 2. Neratosti gets a better entry and exit though, and Awesome Panda has to settle for 7th.
Milestone's pitted and come back out in 3rd place ahead of XRL Stewart.
That's a crucial move in many ways because that's got him into a really tight position now, and he's got clear air because looking back, Ian Unstoppable is all over the diffuser of Stuart B949, gap of about 4 tenths between these two, so evidently these guys are going for a bit of a scrap as well. When these guys have scrapped, they've scrapped very cleanly indeed, but there's also been quite a lot of issues. Meanwhile, we need to find out what lap was it when XRL Fozzie lost his wing. Was that lap 14?
That was, I think it was lap 15. Lap 15.
Okay, we will be looking at that after the race, absolutely no doubt. Ian Unstoppable meanwhile going through turn 12 and 13, getting a little closer to Stewart's McLaren, but he's just not there at the moment. And he goes a little wide at 14, but then look ahead of that, Stewart going onto the dirt there, really struggling to keep the car under control. Into the turn 15 before the non-existent corner, because it's only there because it curves a little bit. Ian Unstoppable getting slightly better traction than Stewart in the McLaren. He's not got any curves, but he's got the DRS now, and that's going to let him get closer. And I think that's the critical mistake here. You need to save about a third of your bar, maybe even half your bar, so you can attack off the corner before DRS. I mean, how would you do it if you were under the helmets tonight, Chris? If you were out there on the track battling with these guys?
In Unstoppable's position, I'd probably not use any unless you're going to go for an attack into turn 1. I'd save it a little bit into the DRS straight down there. And
actually, who's that has got off the track? One of the Lotuses has got a snipe zone. Lotus has gone off at turn 7, and Nira Toasty now in the Sauber's gone through. Snipe zone's down to P6. Don't know what happened there, but he's totally lost it. And now Stewart's battling back for a podium position, who goes wide at turn 10. And this is going to give Ian Unstoppable a great opportunity here if he can get decent drive under the DRS.
With the amount of curves he's got left, I'd use it for the final corner.
That's what I'd be aiming for personally. Going for 11 and going for 12 and 13. Ian Unstoppable getting better traction there in the high aero sector. And into turn 14, trying to get the wider entry, taking the wider karting line there, but used that quite effectively. Strangely used a little bit of his curves off the corner. Not sure why you do that, but he's going to easily be within the 1 second gap here for DRS. He's got to use his curves at the right moment, make sure he doesn't waste it. As Stewart goes off the track, now's the time to attack here. Get him while he can, but again, he's just not got the grip, has he? DRS open from Ian Unstoppable. Once again, he's just not close enough to attack. Moving back through the field, see if we can find some more battles. Awesome Panda now in P7, staring at the back of his teammate. That could get quite tasty. And Nikita on the option tyres now is down in P8 on the quiet race. XRL Fozzie on a fresh set of options and a fresh nose down in P9. He will be absolutely seething at what's happened here. And John Dickweed in P10 rounds off the points with XRL Bernie trying to get into the points for Sauber.
Funny how Jamie makes a comment about your connection, and we have that.
I said that last night while I was doing on the F1 stream. The cheeky bugger there to attack my internet connection. And Stuart B949 in P3 has pulled away a little bit here from Ian Unstoppable. And actually, I think we've got Snipe Zone going past Nira Toasty. Snipe Zone under DRS on the inside there. I think that's a move done and dusted. It is indeed. So Snipe Zone's showing great grip and power here to get himself back in front. Well, at the same time, Nira Toasty getting a great run through 12 and 13. Probably using a bit of curse there, a bit of a strange place to use it. But look how close he is to the diffuser, right underneath Snipe Zone's wing here. And he pulls out the slipstream, coming up towards turn 15 and penultimate corner. And he's going to get the DRS. And if he gets the brakes right, he'll get the move done. As he overshot it, he's gone a little wide. And that's going to let Snipe Zone come back into the tyres. So close. They're side by side going on the start-finish line. And Nira Toasty deploys his DRS. I reckon the Snipe Zone deployed his curse. And they're moving very close into turn 1. Snipe Zone's just got the high ground for now. Well, who's going to do the late braking into turn 1? Nira Toasty tries to go around the outside, getting the better line for 2, and that's a masterful overtake from Nira Toasty in the Sauber. Snipe Zone meanwhile pulls out the slipstream towards turn 4, trying to come straight back in as quick as he can, but has just not got the traction to pull that move off. Nira Toasty P5 going wide at turn 8 there, so Snipe Zone now looking to attack as much as he can. No curves available to him now. He used that to defend towards turn 1. Now going into the hairpin corner at turn 10. Oh, just gets a little grip there. Just about keeps it on the island, Nira Toasty. Heading towards turn 11. DRS deployed from Snipe Zone. Really webbing those gears to the highest level as we get towards turn 11. Oh, both drivers clubbing the inside a bit too much. But a mistake from Toasty. He's gone wide. Got his dust on the tyres. Snipe Zone's got an opportunity now heading towards turn 1. He's definitely going to have DRS. Question is, how close is he going to be? Oh! Mistake from Toasty goes over the inside, nearly clashes the ball out, taking that out. Snipes on now, getting into the dirty air of the Sauber ahead of Toasty, defending with all he can. Heading into turn 15, the penultimate corner. Snipes now goes over the inside, completely cuts the corner there. He's really got to be careful that he doesn't keep doing that. Meanwhile, how many of you people out there are actually watching and taking part? You've all been very, very quiet on the stream as Snipezone tries to get closer to turn 1, but he's just not enough to attack here. Snipezone's had to let Toasty go for now.
I think it'll be another driver seething underneath that helmet after that incident at turn 7.
Well, no, actually, it was a very strange incident. He just seemed to be off in the gravel for absolutely no reason. Really don't know what happened there. And interestingly, Psychic Taco is not dropped too far away from his teammate. There's a gap of maybe 4 seconds between them. So despite the incident, despite being pitted early, despite the spin, Psychic Taco's managed to keep pace with his teammate. I'm very surprised at that.
And Taco's got his life on his tyres as well, because he came in after Jamie came in. But it's just controlling the incidents that he's had is going to determine whether he can overpower his teammate to the win.
Exactly. Now Snipezone in P6 looking at the back of Toasty, just not close enough to attack here. And Awesome Panda now is under, he's getting close to his teammate as Nikita goes wide at turn 11, really pushing him up there. XRL Fozzie in P9 still not able to make any ground. And John Digweed is now under pressure from XRL Bernie. Bernie gets the DRS flat open. He's running in P11, but massive respect for him for sticking it out. Heading towards turn 11, just not got the grit to attack John Digweed. I've actually lost data. I have no idea if any of you are still watching at the moment. My current view count is 0. Ian Unstoppable's quietly done a great race. He's now running in P4 on the prime tyres for Williams. That gives him a great opportunity. And Toasty has fought back well after that first corner incident with the sidepod glitch. And Snipezone down in P6, unhappy of course that he was on the podium, but he's still in fighting range for that. He's not out of this, not by a long shot. Meanwhile, Chris, can you check the stream for me? I don't want to ruin the footage in case people are watching.
Well, for me, the stream is running. The last comment was LGF saying he has track extended 6 times.
And we still got a crowd. That's what matters the most. Toasty trying to get close to the back of being Unstoppable. Heading through turn 11, getting slightly better line there. And he's got a bit more pace in this Sauber. Now that the wearing phase is out of the way for the prime tyres, he might get a decent pace here that will get him back into it towards the end of the race itself. Toasty is really going to keep his head down now. Try and do what Stuart B949 has done and just keep himself together and try and pick up the points after that first lap frocker. Toasty looks like he's going to have the DRS available here on the back of being Unstoppable in the Williams. There goes the flap. He's not using his curves, Toasty. He's trying to save that for later in the lap. Heading towards turn 1, and the closing speed difference really shown off there. Toasty pulls out the slipstream in the last second, goes on the inside. Ian Unstoppable on the outside, got a better line through 2. And Toasty has to filter in behind for now. Now Toasty looking at the inside of Ian Unstoppable, going through 5, 6 and 7. Going to be a potential opportunity here, but Toasty gets backed up by Ian Unstoppable. Unstoppable knows that there's only one line through there, and he says you're not having it. In the meantime though, Toasty tries to dive underneath him at turn 8 and drive the one round the outside, but so close. Heading towards turn 10, Toasty in a tangle line there. Big mistake from Unstoppable. Oh! He oversteers, hits Toasty, but Toasty doesn't get intimidated by it, pulls out the DRS, and that is a move done and dusted. Meanwhile, I've just received a notification from a viewer that people are still out there watching. So even if my software is lying, you're all out there enjoying the race. So thank you all for joining us tonight. Coverage, of course, brought to you by GT Omega Racing and GamePod.co.uk, live and exclusive to Twitch.tv. And interestingly, apparently Twitch.tv is being bought out by YouTube. if you believe Crazy Fish 1234.
I thought Crazy Fish would be watching Hawaii 5-0 by now.
Well, this isn't from the stream. As XRL Fozzie gets a battle run, then Nikita, but then Fozzie dives to the box. That's his third time in on lap 23. So he's going to be on a 5-stop strategy here. There's no way he can make those tyres last half the race. Unless there's something he knows about this circuit I don't.
He knows that Jamie lags and destroys his family.
Aside from that, of course. Ian Unstoppable now trying to get close to the back of Nero Toasty. He's gone past him. And Nero Toasty will start to be pulling away, you'd expect, because his pace has been slightly better than Ian Unstoppable's. Nero Toasty's best lap of 34.6, whereas Ian Unstoppable's best is a 35.8, so 1.2 difference for second in terms of the fastest lap. But of course, fastest lap don't mean everything. It's no good saying a fastest lap 3 seconds faster than else if you're then 4 seconds slower than everyone else for the rest of the race.
Taco's catching up to Jamie. The gap is about 2.5 seconds now.
Let's get on board with that. We've not shown much of the intra-team battle for a while. Yeah, Saget Taco just coming on to turn 15 now. And they've actually got a back marker ahead of them. I wonder who that is. Could that be XRL Bernie, I wonder? Well, whoever it is, they've gone into the pit, so there's absolutely no threat whatsoever. There's going to be interference. DRS and XRL Bernie, it was him. He's decided to retire. And after all the comments he says on the streams about people leaving early, having realised he's not quick enough, he just pulls over and goes, bleh.
Interestingly, he's the host.
Exactly, so he's going to have to sit and watch now. I wonder if he's decided he wants to come stewarding. Well, if he does, he's not welcome. He's not invited to my party, it's private. No, not serious. Let's get him in here so we can find out what happened. As Jamie2503 makes a mistake, cuts the inside curve at turn 8, and that's slowed him down now. And Saika Taco is very, very close indeed to the back of his teammate. Maybe 1.5 seconds between these two, so the Hamilton-Rosberg duel will be back on. Now, has Taco DRS? Not this time, but he is getting closer. A good chain of corners will get him in. Heading for a turn 11 into 12 and 13. Tarkov trying to close up the gap to Jamie2503. The Sooner Sadie's battling out in first place. Great for them in the constructors potentially if they are able to keep it together. But in the meantime now Tarko wants that first place. He gave second in F1. He feels that he's the guy who's king of Bahrain in the GP2 division. He will want that victory, and Jamie2503 will certainly know it and fight for his life. But Tarko's really closed the gap now, and that might be a DRS gap. No, it's not. He must have been just outside it, but Tarko now is going to be getting closer and closer.
I don't think Taco is going to be the king of Bahrain, but he's going to be closer because, well, luckily for Sean Bean, he won it in F1 and GP2 last year.
Yeah, exactly. So proving that double downing is possible. And if Tarko does that, he'll double down for second place, but he doesn't want that. He wants to win one and come second in the other. Ideally, he wants to win both. But look at that now. Tarko's really closed the gap on his teammate. Jamie2503 getting more and more ragged. And he's going wide. Oh, and Tarko goes a little wide at turn 7 there. And then what's that with Jamie? He's got to... Oh, and then he's like... Well, what can you say? What can you say to that? Going through turn 10, Jamie2503 getting slightly tighter line there, assuming he's not black wide. And as a result, Tarko's definitely got the DRS, but he's used a lot of his curves, Tarko. Tarko's attacked too early with that, in my opinion. He should have saved some of that.
To be fair, with a lacking Jamie, it's pretty hard to know where he is on the track, so he's just going to attack wherever he can.
Well, he's right behind Jamie2503 now, Tarko. Tarko's in a great opportunity here, heading down towards turn 15. And Tarko now looks like he's got a chance to really put the muscle on his teammate, assuming there's no lagging accidents. We saw what happened with XRL Fozzie, so anything is possible. Now, Jamie2503 gets a little wide there, a little ragged for Tarko too. Fishtail in the car almost, and goes into the DRS zone. Flat, wide open, but no curves deployed, and that gap is not closing down. Tarko's just not doing enough at the moment. Heading towards turn 4, Psychic Taco now getting closer and closer to Jamie 2503. I think he was looking at a potential move there, Taco, but sorry, it was just a little too far behind. As Jamie goes a little wide and Taco torches his tyres. And oh, what was that from Jamie? Oh, that's what it was another lag. Well, if this carries on, we may have to pull the trigger on Jamie. I really don't want to have to do it. But at the same time, this is going to get quite dangerous. Here it carries on. As Jamie goes wide at 10. Taco's now going to be side by side with him. But he's resisting the temptation to deploy his curves here. Taco wants to fight. Oh, and then Jamie likes 3 tenths up the veil. Has anyone ever seen the film Wreck-It Ralph?
I haven't seen it, but I've heard of it.
Well, basically what Jamie 2503 is doing is what Von Sweets, the character, was doing in the game Sugar Rush. And if you've not seen Wreck-It Ralph, check it out. It's an absolutely awesome gamer-inspired animated movie. It's fantastic. There's so many references to gaming, especially if you're a real gaming nerd for old school gaming.
I'll check it out the next time I'm on Spy, which will probably be tonight.
Well, in the meantime, DRS flop over for Taco. Taco's now really close to the gap on his teammate. Goes right round the outside. Jamie doesn't move on, comes back at him. Into turn 1. Taco takes the inside line. He's going to get the better line through 2, and Taco takes the lead. Now what he needs to do is get the hammer down and try and break the DRS. But Jamie 2503 is not going to make that easy whatsoever.
Or he could just lap back in front of him, which could always happen.
Please don't curse us, I don't want to keep hearing that. Oh, as Jamie 2503 gets a cut on the inside of 5, and then at 6 as well. Really taking the corner a bit too close to the edge here. Jamie 2503 pushing a bit too hard, and that's going to get him a lot of trouble from the stewards if he's not careful. Meanwhile, have you invited Dan to the party?
Why?
Oh, right, fair enough. Evidently he's keeping his helmet on and sitting at the back of the paddock. Dan Fisk does not want to talk to us tonight. He wants to sit alone in a corner, mourning his pathetic loss. And the only reason I'm saying that is because I don't have to commentate with him for 4 weeks, so he can't rib me about it.
Until you get back.
He'll have forgotten by then. Heading down towards turn 15, Jamie 2503 trying to get closer to the back of his teammate. Falls slightly out of the slipstream, looking like he might have thought about a very late lunge. Realised that was not going to work, but he's now using his curve. And look how close that's got into Taco. By saving that pass at the end, there goes the flap, and Jamie is under a real chance here to go right back past his teammate. Taco stays wide to the left. And then he's going to try and go on the outside, Taco. Jamie 2503 locks him on the inside. They're going to be side by side, and Taco defends magnificently there for turn 2.
This is truly Hamilton Road stuff.
It is, isn't it? These guys are properly going at it, hammer and tongs all the way here. Going through turns 5, 6 and 7. Jamie 2503 once again going over the inside, and then he lags at turns 6 and 7 as well.
This could be his favourite lagging spot at the minute.
He's now right behind his teammate, literally a feet between them, heading out towards turns 9 into 10. This tricky double corner here, where it's blindsided downhill, heavy braking zone. Jamie 2503 watches his teammate go through the corner easily. Now tries to get close to the back of his teammate. DRS flat wide open, heading out towards turn 11. Is he going to be close enough to attack here? No, he's just had to back out the move. For turns 12 and 13, Jamie 2503 trying to get the run on his teammate. But in the meantime, up front, Psychic Taco just doing enough to resist for now. With Jamie 2503 saved a bit of his curves, he may be able to get the push he needs to fight back. But Taco also showed on the last lap how he can defend in those tight corners. As Murray Walker once said, it's easy to catch, but passing is quite another. DRS flat wide open. Jamie 2503 looking to make a move down towards turn 1. Psychic Taco defends to the outside once again. Jamie 2503 locks up a little bit. Oh, and that was lag behind his teammate. For once, his lag hasn't paid off, and Psychic Taco keeps the lead.
Another Murray Walker catchphrase. The car in front is unique, except for the car behind that is exactly the same.
That's very, very true. Good old Muddy Talker. I'd love to see him back in the box again. Even if it's only for a few laps.
Huge chance of Silverstone. He normally gets in the box for practice.
That's true, actually. He does sometimes do that, so it's worth keeping an eye out for that for those of you. And of course, this weekend coming up, actually, is the Monaco Grand Prix. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. V6 engines, these killer torque curves. It's going to be a tricky one, that, to predict, because you'd expect the downforce to play to the hands of the likes of Brad Bull. But at the same time, with the incline that's all out of Sander Bow towards Casino Square, I'm not so sure it'll give the Renault engine cars much of a chance, because those Mercedes-powered cars should be able to blast past.
Yeah, but with Monaco, it's all about consistency, as Ayrton Senna found out when he crashed before the tunnel.
We also showed what he did when he managed to resist Nigel Mansell in 1992, when it was for old versus new in terms of tyres, an inferior car versus superior, and Ayrton held on to take that very memorable victory, so don't write him off. Jamie 2003 with a DRS, but he's nowhere near his teammate here. Psychic Taco's got a much better run, and that now gives him a great chance to pull away, maybe possibly break DRS, and finally control the pace of the race, as Taco's wanted to do all race. As Jamie goes over the inside all four tyres at turn 2, gaining a bit of an advantage as Stuart B949 is very, very quietly hanging on in P3 at the moment, doing a great job for McLaren. Near Toasty and for Sauber in P4 as well. Oh, but actually, Stuart got off the track. He made a mistake at turn 4. Oh! And Near Toasty hit him and spun him round. Stuart, stopped on the outside of the track. Near Toasty, going on the racing line, has actually hit Stuart and spun him around. Awesome Panda in P6. Stuart has lost out big time. He's all the way down in... Well, where is he? No, it's not. He's ghosting. Stuart has been spun and then massively back in third place by a country mile. Those of you watching the footage will have seen that. We've got ghosting cars on track here, viewers. It's the last thing we want to see. Definitely get Bernie in the pie. Tell him it's important.
Well, it's interesting how the two people that are lagging severely are both from Scotland.
And Snipezone has just spun out at turn 14, wrecked his front wing and punctured his tyre. He's lost out massively there. Massive mistake from Snipezone. Do not know what happened. And he's going into the final corner, can barely get in. Ian Stoffel gets past him very, very quickly. I don't know what happened there to Snipezone, but once again, he's had a phantom accident and that's ruined his race.
So he's past Stuart.
Providing it's not a ghosting car, as I've got nearer to... No, he's not. He's in P4.
Oh, then it's ghosted, because on my screen he's just gone into P3.
Right, make sure you send an invite to Danfist and get him in here, say we've got problems with ghosting cars and he needs to sort it. And for those of you on the stream, I can only apologise that my co-commentator's got different footage. The only thing I can ask is that you try and leave and rejoin, Chris. Maybe that'll give you a better... Maybe reset it. As Elon Stoffel starts at the back of Awesome Panda into turn 10. Elon Stoffel and the Warriors doing a very commendable job here, as they stood last night in F1, didn't acquit himself too badly, and here in GP2, more his pace, doing a decent solid job for Williams at the moment, handing off the points as we speak at the moment. Meanwhile, for the last 20 or about 15 laps, I've still had 0 on my count for people watching, and I've had absolutely no comments. I'm all alone. Give me something to read.
His track extended 6 times in the past 3 laps.
Yes, I can see that. That's a long time ago. Snipezone, meanwhile, looking at the back of Nikita, heading it. Oh, Nikita there, brutally pushed out of the way by Snipezone. I'm not sure if Snipezone can see her, and Nikita has lost out big time as a result of that. That will have to be investigated after the race.
Do you know what corner?
Turn 14. Awesome Panda's actually gone into the pits, changed tyres, and still come out ahead of his teammates. That shows you how much that wing and puncture hurt his chances. XRL Fozzie, meanwhile, has quietly got himself back to P6. He's not going to be threatening the podium today after that incident with Jamie and with the front wing. Nero Toasty, meanwhile, nearly spins the car and has to go over the inside curve at turn 10 there. Totally got that wrong, but got away with it.
Interestingly, Taco's starting to struggle in his tyres, but Jamie is still too far behind to make anything of his older tyres.
Yeah, because Jamie 2003 is about 3 seconds adrift of his teammate by the looks of things. As Taco's just about coming up to turn 15 now, right at the end of the circuit. And Jamie 2003 is now going to have to really try and keep his medal down. And the question is, are these guys going to be boxing for... No, yes, he is. He lagged back onto the circuit and then back into the pits. And then Stuart B949 crosses the white line a bit late there. We saw Felipe Massa get a penalty by Interlagos in real life. So I don't know if that's something we're going to watch out for.
I've got severe lag with Jamie. His pit mechanics did nothing to his car, and apparently he's made a pit stop.
Right, Psychic Taco has the lead, and I think we may have to ask him to leave because that is getting unbearable. But again, I'd like to talk with Dan before I do anything.
Dan, if you're listening to the stream, get your ass in the party.
Stuart, meanwhile, is still keeping himself quietly going in P4, doing what he can for McLaren here. XRL Fozzie is now in P5, and not too far behind, but he's on a fresh set of options again. Has XRL Fozzie even run the prime tyres?
I doubt it.
So he's definitely going to have to stop again. And he's going to have to stop sooner, Rocket, in order to give himself a fighting chance. He will stop, meanwhile, under big pressure because Snipe Zone is fighting back at him, going through turns 5, 6 and 7. Snipe Zone just rides away behind Ian Unstoppable. Into turn 8, Ian Unstoppable goes wide. Snipe Zone senses an opportunity to outdrag him up the hill, down towards turn 9. But Snipe Zone's just not got the grip here. Oh, and he hits the back of Ian Unstoppable. Nearly pumps him into the gravel. Ian Unstoppable just keeps control of the car now and gets away with it. DRS up for Snipe Zone. Ian Unstoppable defence in the middle of the track. Snipe Zone thinks better of it. And Ian Unstoppable goes wide at turn 11. Into turn 12. Snipe Zone goes, thank you very much. And takes that position absolutely beautifully. Great driving there for Snipe Zone. And then Ian Unstoppable goes through turn 14 without taking the corner, and that's now got him right under the wing of the Lotus driver. I keep on forgetting the names as I'm starting my commentary here. That was Snipe Zone in the Lotus, and ahead of Ian Unstoppable. Look how close he is. Ian Unstoppable's going to drive right back past him on the DRS here, and that was all set up by that turn 14 where he literally straight line the corner.
Interestingly, Taco stayed in the lead, but the gap is down to about 2 seconds to the lagging Jamie.
Ian Unstoppable takes the position back for Snipe Zone, but it's hard to know how much of that was earned. Awesome Panda in P6, meanwhile, staring at the back of XRL Fozzie in the Ferrari, who's doing a great job here, hanging on to the points. Meanwhile, in P4, XRL Stupid 949 has closed the gap to Nero Toasty in the Sauber. Up ahead, though, look at that gap, it's really come down, as Jamie 2003 has actually got DRS on the lead car of the sister Mercedes Psychic Taco, who's gone off the track at turn 11. Taco's gone off, and Jamie takes the lead. Some of the driving tonight has been really scruffy. Lots of corner cutting, lots of guys going off at corners they shouldn't be going off. Very, very scruffy indeed tonight. Going over turn 15 into 16, Psychic Taco. Is he going to be close enough to have DRS back on his teammate? He has, but he's not got the curves to close the gap enough. And Jamie also gains a few feet courtesy of a lag there. Heading into the final corner at turn 1, Psychic Taco breaks out very late early there, making sure he gets nowhere near his teammate. Meanwhile, heading back, we've got one fight going on track as Ian Unstoppable lunges up the inside of Snipe Zone. Snipe Zone's not able to attack into turn 1 at the moment, but Snipe Zone got a better run through turns 2 and 3. Heading out towards turn 4, Ian Unstoppable getting into the slipstream, pulls out, heading towards turn 4. Ian Unstoppable takes the tighter line, Snipe Zone takes a more wider cutting line, looking to down at the inside through turn 5 into 6 and 7. Well, he's just not close enough. Snipe Zone is just having to back out on the move for now. But Ian Unstoppable is getting more and more ragged here and feeling the pressure from the Lotus driver. As in turn 8, Snipe Zone seems to get a bit of a corner cut there, gets a slightly shorter line, but he's not able to capitalise. Ian Unstoppable, but he also move at turn 10 and be brave to get the car stop through there, decides to think better of it and waits for DRS. Meanwhile, I've got to say, it's been quiet from all you people on the street tonight. None of you have said an absolute word. You've all been keeping quiet tonight. Very interesting. Very well behaved. It's turn 14. Snipe Zone doing all he can to get close to the back of Ian Unstoppable and get the DRS down towards turn 1. He wants to try and get side by side with the Williams, but not be ahead. If he's ahead, he drives clean past him. Snipe Zone's done a great overtake, but that's going to give the advantage to Ian Unstoppable, who's got curves left. Already he's closed that gap. He's now going to be alongside and then gets the DRS to just drive back past him. Poor drive from Ian Unstoppable from the Lotus driver there on Snipe Zone. But Snipe Zone dash to the inside line. He's on the brakes late. They brush tyres. Ian Unstoppable has to let him through. But then Ian Unstoppable comes back in through 2. They lock tyres into 3. They're going to be side by side down towards turn 4. Snipe Zone defending with his curves, trying to keep the position into turn 4. Ian Unstoppable tries to drive on the outside. Now the with Brave goes off the track, but still keeps ahead into turn 5. They're still side by side into 6. And Snipe Zone has to yield.
We've got a message from Mr. Cause F1 on Twitch, and he says hello.
Well, good evening to you there, Mr. Cause. Is that on the chat box?
Yeah.
Right, that's not come through on my chat box for some reason.
I refreshed my Twitch.
Right, evidently we're having a few problems here. Quite a few grapplers all over the place, it would seem. Let's give that a try. Let's do a reload. I'll see if it comes up on my side as well. As I say, you people might well be commentating for hours and I've not been able to say a word to you. So hello anyway. Meanwhile, Snipe Zone gets a good line through 12 and into 13 on the outside line here. Heading towards 14. Has Snipe Zone got the chance to be able to attack here? Snipe Zone's getting closer and closer to the back of Ian Unstoppable. He knows what the DRS can do. He's got to stay behind the Warriors, as painful as it is, just so he's got a chance toward turn 1. Tries to drive around the outside, contact made between Ian Unstoppable and Snipe Zone through turns 15 into 16. DRS is going to be available to the Lotus driver. Heading down towards turn 1, there goes the flat, and a little bit of curves as well to push him along, gets into the slipstream nicely. Ian Unstoppable defends to the middle of the track. Snipe Zone goes clean into the inside, gets on the brakes. How close is he? Oh, he's had to back out on the move.
Arco has repassed Jamie on the straights, and I don't know how accurate that is, but he's ahead of my screen.
Well, I'll move further forward to get some more coverage of that. My Twitch chat box, meanwhile, is no longer refreshing. So, Chris, you will be in charge of keeping an eye on the chat box. In the meantime, P3, we've got Nero Toasty, and on my screen in P2, Jamie2503 is indeed in second place. Psychic Taco is now in third. We're into the final 19 laps of this race, view. It's been a long, long time coming. These guys have been at it hard in the desert here. It's been really difficult to see what's going on. I am afraid that I've had to close my Twitch chat box. I cannot comment anymore because the stream, the information is not coming through for some reason. Oh, as Jamie goes over the inside curve there, almost hits the bollard, and that's going to give him a great run on his teammate Taco down towards turn 1. There goes the flap, and he's also deploying his curves, Jamie. But Taco is obviously defending with his curves, because look how much he pulled away. Into turn 1, Jamie's just not close enough. Psychic Taco hanging on for now as Jamie2503 is getting closer and closer to the back of his teammate's car. We're into the final 18 laps, not long left in this race at all. It's going to be a question. Oh, big mistake from Jamie there. Gets a lot of wheel slip as he goes through turn 6. Managed to catch it. Oh, and then gets a little black for good measure into turn 8. How are you supposed to keep up with this, viewers?
remarkable.
Right, please send another invite to Bernie, and I'm actually going to send him an offline message saying please come into the party.
Fine. I mean, I sent him a message. I sent him about 20 invites over the last 20 laps. So
Send him another one.
I've just sent him another one, but...
Okay, that's fine. Tell me what, Jamie2503 getting close there towards the end of lap, the end of the 39th lap onto lap 40. He's got the DRS on his teammate as he looks to try and close down Sakitako. Try and take this victory away here, if possible. Sakitako's had to work really hard so far. Jamie2503 just not close enough to affect the pass though. Having to yield a nearer toasty in P3 on the option tyres. Now that's interesting because that's going to mean he's going to have to stop again, surely.
Yeah, more than likely. And Taco and Nikita have had a little bit of a collision.
I didn't get on my screen, I was following the cars behind. As Elon Stopwell's got the DRS now, Snipes are looking to come on the outside line. Gets closer to him, Elon Stopwell goes wide, deep into turn 1. And Snipes is going to take the karting line through 2 and 3. A little brush on the wheels, well that was a great piece of driving from Snipes out. Now Elon Stopwell will be looking to take that place back. Oh, and now Elon Stopwell appears to have lagged because he's gone clean past the Snipe zone when he wasn't anywhere near him. Newtown just swerved forward by not board. Snipes out. Fancies the move at the end of the DRS on turn 11. Backs out a bit at the last second though. Realising he's just not got the pace. Meanwhile, I've received an offline message from Dan saying, really, all I'm going to do is say things I shouldn't. Evidently, he's not best pleased either. But Snipesville getting close to the back of Elon Unstoppable in the Williams. The lone stroke Snipesville going to be a great chance here with DRS down towards turn 1. It's all about getting close and breaking that position, trying to get ahead and get away from any potential things that might affect it, such as lag. Elon Stopple defends to the inside. Snipesville goes around the outside. Elon Stopple goes way too deep. Look how wide he's got at turn 1. Snipesville's got his best opportunity now to really pull away from him. And that's easily a gap of about a second and a half there. Massive mistake from Elon Stoppable. And right now, he's got XRL Fozzie chasing after him, who's now on the prime tyres. Fozzie's gone onto the slower tyre at the end of the race. And he's had to go onto the marbles to get away from Unstoppable through turn 4 into 5 and 6. Fozzie still thought he could drive around the outside. That was ambitious. He'd have to back out on the move in 7, but Fozzie's not hanging round here and attacking into 8. Elon Stoppable under real pressure here. Hager's turns 9 and 10. XRL Fozzie's going to have the DRS on the back of Elon Stoppable, heading out towards turn 11. And we've seen some great close driving down towards this corner, setting up for the moves towards the end. Is this a place where you can attack really, even with the DRS?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one because you've got the heavy braking, but as long as you get alongside, then you've always got the chance of obviously taking the position.
Oh, XRL Fozzie getting too much of the curve at turn 14. Nearly spun the car. Had to get into a bit of a weaving frenzy on the outside curve. And that may have just cost him the critical time to catch up to Unstoppable through turn 15, who goes a little wide, kisses the apex of Fozzie at 16. Does a great job there. Has a bit of curves as well, so this is an opportunity. Unstoppable's already defended to the middle of the track. Fozzie's stuck right with him, getting a massive toe. Left or right, heads or tails. XRL Fozzie goes on the outside, looking to go for the tighter cutback line. But that is going to give the better line to Unstoppable in 2, and Fozzie has to stay behind him for now. XRL Fozzie looking to make a move into turn 4 as Elon Unstoppable goes on a wide entry, but it's just not enough. Oh, XRL Fozzy goes wide at turn 7. Evidently getting a bit unsettled by Snuffballs Williams. Not able to catch here. Meanwhile, Nikita in P9, she'll be gutted with her performance. In P6, she's been really, really anonymous from Nikita. A real surprise. We are Psychic Taco trying to pull away from Jamie2503, and he's actually broken the DRS gap. This is a critical time now for Taco. If he can hang on and just get the pace he needs, it might be enough to steal it. Niratoski, meanwhile, has done a great job back in P3 now, and has got a good gap on the Awesome Panda of around about 13 seconds. Really good driving from Niratoski to pull that back. And XRL Stewart, credit to him as well. He's in P5 and only 4 or 5 seconds of drift as well. Even though apparently when he crossed the start-finish line, his lap time was 29 seconds.
What have you got as the top runners then?
Well, I'll give you a rundown. This is assuming my footage is right. Psychic Taco is in the lead. In P2, we've got Jamie2503, his teammate, in second place. Nira Tosti is third for Salva. Then we've got Awesome Panda in fourth for Lotus. XRL Stewart B949 in fifth for Vodafone Car Mercedes. Then we've got Snipe Zone in sixth place for Lotus. Then we've got XRL Fozzy in seventh for Ferrari. Ian Unstoppable for Williams in eighth. Nikita in P9 for Red Bull. And then rounding off the top 10, John Digweed in the Scuderia Ferrari.
Would you like the good news or the bad news?
The good news is that your footage is probably different to mine. The bad news is your footage is probably different to mine.
The good news is most of the positions you said is one off what you actually said on my screen. The bad news is I've got Stuart in the lead, and other than that, it's mainly correct.
Well, as I say, I did get another message from Dan saying he's just testing. He doesn't want to get a new host now because he doesn't want people to disconnect. Well, with the connection people have had already, would it make much difference? Because really, so far, it's been really difficult to follow the action. I mean, you've not been able to call any of the on-track action because your positions are so random. And Nira Tosi now has really caught to the back of Jamie2503, but you've got to suspect that Nira is going to have to pit for another set of tyres. And you get the feeling that Jamie2503 will be able to stay out right to the end of the race.
Interesting. I've just had another aggressive move by Tucker at turn 4. He's just pushed Stuart off the track for me, and Jamie's about to do exactly the same at turn 8.
Well, that tells me that Stuart's not ghosting on your screen because Psychic Taco and also Jamie have both gone through turn 8 on mine, followed by Neurotoasty, and they're now actually at turn 10 on my screen.
Yeah, they've all just gone. They're now on DRS straight, and Stuart's now down in 4th, and he's got DRS.
It's ridiculous. I don't know what's going on anymore. I can't follow. Honestly, last night's connection issues, and tonight we've got the ghosting issues. I can't take this game seriously anymore. I really can't take it seriously. The guys turn out week after week. They train really hard. They do tons of practicing. They do all these overtakes. They put on some great wheel-to-wheel action. And then halfway through, the cogs in the machine and the connection just give up and don't care. And, you know, we saw what happened with Jamie and XRL Fozzy, you know, caused by lag. We've seen what's happened with Stuart on your screen, caused by possible ghosting. It's a joke. As Nira Toasty dives into the box, is he going to go for a final set of options or actually come back for a set of the prime tyres? Let's ride on board with the Sauber driver into his pit box. And it's a set of the options, 12 laps, definitely doable. So Nira Toasty wanted the pace, and Awesome Panda is actually going to be very close to him coming out of the pits here. And Nira Toasty just coming up to the end of pit road. Awesome Panda at full speed in the Lotus is going to be mightily close into turn 1, but Awesome Panda's just not doing enough to close the gap. And Nira Toasty on the option tyres should pull away, but Awesome Panda's shown great pace to be able to race here, so don't write him off.
I think Bernie's comment about hosting GP2 is very interesting, seeing as now I think he has semi-stepped down from his position. He won't need to do the work. It will be purely drivers testing their own connections. Dan doesn't even need to necessarily be in the race to host it.
No, exactly. At the end of the day, it's all about getting the best host. It's why Nutters has been chosen for F1 when it's about, because there's been very few problems. And the issue we've got is that we saw with CRL Bus, and his connections seem a bit iffy at places. We've seen it happen with some of the lower divisions where connections have been really quite shoddy. And the problem is, it's really hard to figure it out because, like, you know, you've got people such as myself who've got one of the fastest fibre optics in the country, and we're having poor connections sometimes. It's a joke. It makes no sense.
I don't think it helps with Bernie as host being in the lobby watching without leaving the lobby potentially.
But also that would have changed the host, and who knows what will happen. XRL Bernie's decided to test this. Has that detrimented to the other driver? I don't know. That's one of the things that's going to obviously be long debated. And we've also got a lot of things we'll have to review in the steward's office as well. So it's going to be quite a tiring night, unfortunately. Meanwhile, Awesome Panda closing on the back of Nera. Well, I think Nera's just done enough to pull away here and maintain third place. Jamie203, about 4 seconds adrift of his teammate Psychic Tarko, who looks so far to be on to take a victory here in GP2 and really give himself a great opportunity in the championship. John Digweed, meanwhile, stays rooted in P10, chasing after Nikita, who's gone for a fresh set in the prime tyres, trying to keep himself get some consistent points. But Nikita's surely one of the more disappointing drivers this race because I'd have expected better pace from her.
Not only her, but Fozzie as well.
Well, Fozzie, you can't really blame him. If it wasn't for the lagging Jamie2503, he could be on the podium. He's not down in P9 because he's been driving poor pace here. He's down in P9 because of poor lagging. And curiously, now he's lagging. We just can't win. We just cannot win. Snipe Zone's just ahead of XRL Fozzie, so Snipe Zone we want to keep 7th place, and XRL Fozzie with DRS jumping about a bit though. Cars a bit difficult to follow on that screen at the moment. I mean, I don't know if this track's part of the problem, because last year at GP2 we also had ex-driver XRL Luke having major ghosted problems, which led to a few nasty comments which were taken out of contact. Needless to say, wonder if the track's causing this. We saw in China with the lag on the back straight. Is it just the circuits? Is that part of the problem?
Well, I know Hungary you get a lot of ghosting there when we raced there last year, but to be fair, the circuit should have nothing to do with the game connection. The circuit should be just a base, and then the connection be based off the host.
Well, they shouldn't, but again, we've seen it in China, haven't we? We've seen it at Hungary, so despite it, no, what it could and shouldn't be, it's like on equal cars. The cars are supposed to be equal. So why is it that the Sauber is so skittish versus some of the other cars? Why before the patch was the Lotus 15 kilometres an hour quicker in a straight line? Because the fact is, the coders haven't bothered to code the game properly. I don't see what's the problem with taking a random car from the grid, whether it's the Mercedes, whether it's the Lotus, whether it's the Red Bull, whether it's the Marussia, who cares, by taking one of those cars from Korea and simply saying, right, there you go, boom, master skin, all we do is change the colour. That way everyone's guaranteed to be equal because the car's no different.
Then it's just down to skill and, well, hopefully, like 2010, setups doesn't really particularly matter.
Well, you could even do it where you force people to have standard setups. You know, that's one of the things that's been suggested. I'm not sure how popular that'll be with drivers. Well, could you imagine it where you have to have one of the setups chosen by the engineer? So it's up to you, and all you do is you can't spend forever making stupid taking advantage of glitches. It's like there's a glitch I know of on the game. I'm not going to speak it on the stream because I don't want to be giving anyone an unfair advantage, but I do know, because people who tested online, there is a way to get your car stopped a lot easier than normal if you know the setup glitch. And it's all because the game coders haven't bothered to put one of the standard things of setups into place. It's like the 1-1 Aero on 2012. You could run it on every track because aerodynamics made no difference. It's like the 11-11 suspension in 2011. The fact is, too many things like that have happened on these games. And if Codemasters want to avoid getting criticism for their F1 licence, they've got to make it work And, well, Jamie, for example, he's just gone off at turn 15 and then lagged right back on the track with no loss. It's just getting frustrating to commentate on. How can you follow the action? And I will say, you probably all commented on this on the stream's chat box, but unfortunately, I can't see it, so I don't know what you're saying. Is there any comments in there, Chris?
For me, I have got nothing. I think Twitch may be playing up with this chat stream tonight.
Just got to show that nothing seems to be working. So yeah. Meanwhile, XRL Fozzy pulls out the slipstream and snipes out, heading out towards the DRS zone. The XRL Fozzy trying to stay millimetres behind Snipe Zone there to get the DRS and pass, but I don't think it's worked. And Snipe Zone will have the advantage back towards turn 1. He deploys the curse, gets right under the Ferrari. No! Neither driver got DRS. They must have dead heated over the detection line. Unbelievable driving, but Snizo's got the better momentum into turn 1 and retains the position. Beautiful.
Interestingly, I've got Stewart leading this race, Nikita second for Red Bull, and Taco in third.
You have to be kidding. I've got Nikita running in P9.
She was running in P9 until about 20 seconds ago.
What more needs to be said? What more needs to be said?
Then I've just had Stuart go back down to 10th and first in a one corner. And yes, I've got that.
Ridiculous. Well, in the meantime, DRS on for Snipe Zone has been passed beautifully by XRL Fozzy, but Snipe Zone taking advantage of the DRS down towards turn 11 and is able to get the car stopped and pull away for now. But XRL Fozzy is sticking with him. We're into the final 8 laps. Thank God this is going to be over, because this has been a shambles here. The driving styles haven't been brilliant, but the connection's been terrible. And, well, hopefully things will improve for Monte Carlo. Not Spain, sorry, it's Monte Carlo afterwards. See, even I'm lagging in the commentary box. XRL Fozzy with a DRS lap open on the back of Snipe Zone towards turn 1, just that close, not close to go. Sorry, what were you about to say?
I was going to say, guys, if you want to put your messages back out on Twitch, it looks like this chat box is now working, and we'll go through with them, with me and Swish.
We'll certainly do our best. I mean, I can't get access to the Twitch box now, so you'll see the internet to try and get it working, and I'd rather not do that with 7 laps to go. Well, Chris has got the box open, so if you've got any comments you want to make, please feel free to add to the arguments and the rants. As XRL Fozzy getting close to the back of Snipe Zone, battle for 7th and 8th, and we're following it because from what I can see it's the closest battle on track. XRL Fozzy with DRS battle down towards turn 11, trying to attack the back of Snipe Zone's Lotus, but Snipe Zone got great traction off the corner at turn 10 and has actually pulled away.
No, I've definitely got Stuart lagging. He's just gone 40 miles per hour at turn 10.
Absolutely unbelievable. XRL Fozzy, will it be close enough for the DRS towards turn 1? He's got close to the back of the Lotus driver X Snipe Zone, but needless to say, heading into the final corner, XRL Fozzy trying to do what he can to pull away, and Snipe Zone dummies towards the pits, pulls back, and so does XRL Fozzy to get the toe, and even with DRS, Fozzy's not closing the gap. Meanwhile, cycling back through the field, Ian Unstoppable coming out of the pits, and even see him in the pits. And Nikita's still in P9 on my screen, going around the final corner now. Then in P10 is John Digweed, who's not too far behind her, but not really threatening Nikita. And then back at the front, we've got Taco in the lead, and he's got a gap now of about 4 seconds to Jamie 2503. So provided Taco can keep it together, this should be a victory here. Niratosti in P3, meanwhile, doing a great job to recover from that first corner fracker. And the awesome Panda, big shout out to him, in P4, having qualified not so well, and Snipe Zone in P6. Oh, awesome Panda's now in P5. Niratosti in 4th. Jamie2503, oh, what's going on? I've now got Stuart in the lead.
Yep, that's what I've got. I've got Nikita in 5th though.
I don't know what's going on anymore. I've no idea where anybody is.
All I can say is we're going to find out when they cross the line.
I mean, Taco's now got a huge gap over Jamie2503. Near Toaster's gap hasn't changed. And then in P5, I've still got the awesome Panda.
I mean, I know Stuart's lagging because he's just gone through the middle sector on 55 seconds.
Well, Jamie2503 goes under the Pirelli tyre bridge at 58 seconds. Psychic Taco 110 coming up to the end of Sector 2, so he's lapping in the consistent pace. But yeah, XRL Stewart is going through turns 5 and 6 on a 118. I mean, that tells me that his lap time's probably going to reset around about corner 9 or 10. Going to ride on board with XRL Stewart just to find out.
I've even got Nikita doing the same thing.
Yeah, his lap resets to the DRS detection, the DRS activation zone. And apparently he's more than half a lap ahead of Taco. I refuse to believe that. After what we saw at turn 1, how has Stewart gone half a lap ahead? How? I'm really sorry, viewers. This is absolutely shocking. Dan, your test has failed.
Interesting, we've got Sharky on the stream saying it's Sharky. Well, hello, Sharky.
Well, good evening, Sharky. Thanks for getting the comments out there. As I say, the GP3 is on air tomorrow. Hopefully the connection issues will sort itself out. I have no idea what's going on with F4. I don't know if it's been streamed or not. And then F5000 and T6 are live in simulcast on the Wednesday evening. And then the Classics on Saturday as well, isn't there?
Yeah, Classics is on Saturday. It's the final round of these cars for the drivers. And it is at San Marino.
So going back to Imola, classic track for a classic series. Now XRL Fozzie meanwhile is still close with Snipe Zone, positions 7 and 8, the closest guys on track. We may as well follow them while we've got the opportunities. The other cars seem to lie and stern at the moment, going through 6 and 7. XRL Fozzie's on the better grip, and Snipe Zone almost let him past them, but Fozzie totally overshot the corner at turn 8. Got a lot of marbles on the tyres, and that will not help him as he goes into turns 9 and 10. Going over the DRS activation line, flat opens wide, XRL Fozzie looking to get as close as he can, heading towards position 11, and he started weaving his tyres strangely, very odd. Heading on turn 11 there, XRL Fozzie just keeps ahead. Sorry, Snipe Zone keeps ahead.
I was just going to say, Psychic Taco is literally right behind Stuart. He's just pushed Stuart out of the way and he's regained the lead on my screen.
Cycling forward, I got the awesome Panda in 5th, Neratosti in 4th, and then in 4th place, Jamie2503. Taco now in 3rd, I don't believe this. I've now got Nikita in P2, and Stuart in the lead. This is pathetic.
There's even a lagging Ferrari. Of John D. Guide.
I've really had enough of this game. I have had enough. You know, you get the drivers going out there doing well, you get us sat in the box talking for hours about God knows what else, you get the guys who organise the races, the stewards, you've got all the videos that are made by the likes of Velocity. I mean, Jamie2503's car practically breakdancing on the circuit, that's saying it all. Why do we bother? What's the point? Why are we wasting our time doing this? I mean, yeah, it's great that you guys are still out there watching, but what would you rather watch? A race you can follow or a race that makes absolutely no sense?
Well, I'm going to say until lap 20, this was one of the best races I've ever seen. Now, I'm going to say this is probably the worst race I've seen all season.
I mean, now we've got Psychic Taco in 2nd. In first, I've still got Stewart. No sign of where Nikita's buggered off to. In P3, I've got Jamie2503. Then down in P4, I've got Nero Toasty. So again, I've got cars all over the place on track. It's impossible to follow.
I've got Nikita down in 6th now.
I've got the awesome Panda in 6th.
I've got him in 5th.
Snipe Zone's gone back into the pits in P7 for a very late pit stop. So XRL Fozzie has now gone ahead to P7. Well, at least those guys have been consistent.
Yeah, but it's funny because I've got the 10th place car of John DeGweed lagging.
Well, I mean, I think every car's lagged at some point in this race now. It's been absolutely dire to watch the last 30 or so laps. It's been a total endurance in the worst way possible. Absolute shambles.
Sharky's put something on the stream. He says he would rather watch a race he can follow and Codemasters sort the games out.
Well, we've tried for the last 4 years. We've been telling them ever since 2010, get the online sorted out. People have been complaining about it for years. And it seems that every single season, they change something and then screw something else up. It's like, okay, so let's, the setups don't quite make much of 2010. Okay, but the game could still be played. 2011, oh, we've got too many glitch setups, but the lobbies work. Okay, that's fine. 2010, let's mess up the lobby to make it so the setups don't work. 2013, let's make it so none of it works. It's pathetic.
I'll bet you for 2014 it's going to be equal cars, but they're actually the 2014 cars. So Mercedes is going to win no matter what.
Well, in the meantime, Nero Toasty is actually close right up to the back of Jamie2503 now. Nero Toasty actually battling to take 4th place. Well, on screen it's 4. Oh, but wait, Nero Toasty 4 battle moving to turn 8, and then, predictably, Jamie likes ahead of him. Could you imagine this in real life? It's like, oh, Esteban Gutierrez looking at the back of Hamilton, he's gone, and Hamilton's just teleported in front of him. Well, that's the kind of development we didn't expect to see under the homologated rules of the chassis.
If this happened in real life, we would have thousands and thousands and thousands of people killed.
Of course we will. Oh, Nero Toasty almost got sideswiped by the lagging Jamie2503. Manages to catch it with magnificent car control, but Nero Toasty now is going to be just absolutely insanely angry because everything that this driver's doing to recover from that crazy first lap glitch, because again, side pod glitch, why can't they fix that? That's a simple thing to change. That's a 1 second fix. Well, we're on the final lap. All I can say is thank God for that.
Hallelujah.
Sorry to sound unprofessional, viewers, but I simply can't wait for this race to be over.
Interesting. I want to know who wins the race, who comes second, and who comes third.
Well, yeah, here we go, viewers. Right, put your bets on there. Who's going to come where? I'm assuming Taco's in the lead because I don't see how Stewart will have gained the time. But I've now got Nikita in P2 again. Where did she gain the time? You know what I mean? This is ridiculous. And then I've got Stewart, who's actually started another lap. So he definitely can't be in the lead.
It's ridiculous. So, turn 13, Taco's just gone past it. He's now coming up to the final couple of corners.
Yeah, coming up to the dual corner of 15 and 16. Here we go. Will the race end? Let's find out. Riding on board with Taco, goes for the white beams, and is he starting to weave? He hasn't weaved, and he crosses the line. I think he may have come second. No, because Nikita is now showing his second.
Oh, but Toasty's second.
No, Nikita's now showing third.
Stewart has come second place. He has finished the race in second.
And I've actually got Nikita battling. Oh, she was showing second. Now Nero Toasty is in third. And Jamie2503 all the way down in 4th place. Well, I don't know where Stewart found the pace because on track it was impossible to follow. No one had a clue where he was. Now I'm being shown that Nikita's down in P9 and Snipezone's in P8.
Oh, I've got the other way around. John DeGweed has finished.
Please just end. I've had enough. I've had enough. Just end it, please. Well, in the meantime, let's get the guys who did finish on the podium in place, just so we can get their comments. Madness, useless, daft. Call it what you like. Well, let's get these guys in for the podium, and apparently Taco only finished 5.5 seconds ahead. Well, Taco, we'll go over to you then. A race which we found difficult to follow because we had no idea where any of you were. But still, having shown some pace in the F1 division last night, did you think that first was yours for the taking tonight?
Yes, even with the poor quality pace that I set from no practice earlier this morning, I felt I could easily do it in the race pace. Except Stewart with his ghost car. I don't know what they put in the McLarens, but they really scared me at the end, that's for sure.
I mean, we'll get on to that in a moment, but needless to say, I mean, obviously you had the practice on the 100% fuel loads last night around Bahrain in the F1 division. Do you reckon that was a difference maker?
Yes, also including the first lap incident that really set me up for success. With good teamwork with me and Jamie through the first stint, really set ourselves for victory. One of us was going to win it, and it turned out to be me.
Well, big congratulations there. We'll go over to you in the meantime, Stuart. First corner, you seem to get caught in the fracas where we had one of the side pod glitching cars hitting into you, and that seemed to really put you out of position. And then after that, well, to be honest, following you was harder than following an episode of the X-Files because we had no idea where you were going in points.
Yeah,
How was it for you?
I really thought I was going to win that race, and then Tackle suddenly appears in at the end, which was quite, annoying. But throughout the race, I couldn't see Tackle whatsoever, and I had to communicate with him because I was overtaking him, but he couldn't see me. It was one of the laggiest races I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, we found it really difficult after the first couple of stints. We had cars all over the place, and right at the end, we were literally praying for the race to be over because we really had no idea where everybody was. But overall, your practice last night will have set you up. Do you feel that the second was the best you could have got today?
Well, I think I could have got a win, to be honest, since I got pole, but I got took out twice, so second place is always good.
Well, congratulations there. In the meantime, then, Neil Thompson, we'll go on to you. I mean, you seem to have the pace in qualifying, and then it looked like you potentially got glitched in the first corner and found yourself having to really do a recovery drive and really found yourself out of position. Is that what you thought would be fun here tonight, or did you hope it would be a lot smoother than that?
I don't know, I was hoping it'd be a lot smoother than that. To be honest, I was hoping to get on pole to start with, because obviously I've hit much faster times than what I did then by like 4 tenths. But I just couldn't connect it in the qualifying, and then I ended up getting that side pod glitch, and from there it was just kind of all out or nothing really.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was a great recovery to get yourself back onto the podium. I mean, with the pace of some of the guys that were in the middle field, the likes of Awesome Panda, likes of Snipe Zone, did you think you'd really be able to overhaul those guys, like an XRL Fozzie as well, to take that final position?
I just want to say the strategy I went on then when I went in for options was not supposed to happen. I was supposed to grab primes on that pit stop, and then I just had to make it work with the options that actually seemed to work in my favour.
It seems that all of us have not quite got where we wanted tonight. We've had cars in completely random positions. We've had accidents all galore. It's been very, very difficult to watch, and a massive thank you to all you people out there who stayed the course. Of course, coverage tonight brought to you by GT Omega Racing and GamePod.co.uk, exclusive to Switch.tv. Now, tomorrow night, GP3 will be live. Sharky will be in the box covering that. F4, I do not believe is being streamed, but again, I'm not the man in charge of that. On Wednesday evening, we've got the dual cast of F5000 and T6 before you get Chris Moss as the division head for XRL Classics on the Saturday evening. And then next week, well, F1 will be happening on the Sunday evening at the Spain Circuit de Catalunya. I will not be in the box for that for the next 4 weeks, but you will see me here on GP2 on the Monday night instead. Until then, thank you all very much for watching, and good night. One final thing, happy birthday, Sean, May 22.
It's your birthday?
I'm supposed to wait till I say stop.